What up? Hey everybody, it is me. It's Draw. Welcome back again, the Drastik Measure Show. It is the 2018 award show. At some point today, we will have a Willie Wet Shoe and a Dark Lunar Dude with us. We'll give it a minute, and I'll let them do introductions. This is the fourth year of doing the award show. TDM has been around since 2013. It's something fun that we do. Especially, I enjoy it. I've done something a little differently this year. Last year it was we just kind of got a whole bunch of trailers and played them through YouTube. This year I try to make it a little better. We'll see what the thoughts and opinions are of that. And I apologize if I am really fucking loud. Let me go ahead and fix that. Ears may be broken, and I apologize. We got several categories. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go through each category. Then I will introduce the people on Discord. I am the founder. I'm the one that started the Drastik Measure, and we have two co-owners now. We may be adding two co-owners in the near future. The co-owners are Lalinia and Dark Child. Hopefully they will get to join us at some point. There's Lolly there in chat. Normally I would try to have each camera and some artwork for each person. Again, a lot of people didn't show up early enough for me to get the whole thing going. So we're doing it a little different this year anyway. So I hope that you guys enjoy it. We'll talk. The way it's going to work is we will do a category. We'll announce we'll play the video. We'll discuss it a little bit, and then we'll move on to the next one. We got 2 hours. At the end of the show, we are going to be giving away 2 copies. No, all right, yeah, exactly. We're going to give away 2 copies of Hellfront Honeymoon, which, if anybody's been around the channel today, it's the game that we're doing a pre-launch event of. It releases tomorrow. And then after the award show is over, Boss Cat Hero will pick up playing Hellfront Honeymoon again. And then after him, Thor Stacks. And that'll go on until 2 a.m. So the awards for 2018. We will have Best Action Game, Best Adventure Game, Best Role-Playing Game, Best Platformer, Best Visual Novel, Best Strategy Game, Best MMORPG/Survival Game, Best Fighting Game, Best Multiplayer Co-op Game, Best Early Access, Best Horror, Best Sports Racing Game, Best Add-on Content, which can be a DLC expansion or a free update. Best Visual Design, Best Soundtrack, Best Overall Audio, Best Overall Story, Best Remake, Remaster, Re-Release, Best Indie Game, Best PlayStation Game, Best Xbox Game, Best Nintendo Game, Best Gaming Service or Platform of the Year, Studio of the Year, PC Game of the Year, the Shit Show Award, and Game of the Year. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to unmute. Hello. We have a Dark Lunar Dude. Dark Lunar Dude, introduce yourself.
Hello, guys.
That's it?
Well, the people should know who I am from.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
What?
DLD's a reviewer at TDM and he streams. There you go. Alright. So, with that said, and Willie will be joining us soon. I want to thank everybody who is in the chat. Heelshot, Lalinia, DLD, Light Samus, Vorshin, Willie Wet Shoe the Pirate, Loco, Alex Knight, Wags, all y'all guys being here, it means a whole lot. TDM is my baby. You know, I started it. I had some help. I had a friend of a family member who gave me the initial couple $100 to get it started. Then Gizmoden gave me the rest. And with that startup money, TDM was born, and we're still here today. We have our ups and downs. Right now, we're going strong, and we're going to be starting off the new year amazingly. So, thank you guys for the support. So, we're going to go ahead and start it up. The award show. We're going to play the video. It's going to show the nominees, and then we'll discuss. I will announce each owner got to pick their winners. I will be announcing each owner's pick, the community choice pick, and then I'll tell you the winner. So let's do it. Wrong account. Damn it.
Whoops.
Okay. Let's do this thing. Okay. Again, the ear warning for the first time. You ain't no telling how loud it's gonna be. Neuro, what up, man? All right.
There you go. Now they got it. Alright.
That didn't cut right. Oh well. So as you may have seen, the nominees for Best Action Game, they were Marvel Spider-Man, which is PS4, Red Dead Redemption 2, Hitman 2, Starlink Battle for Atlas, Mutlaka, We Happy Few, Strange Brigade, Fist of the North Star, and Just Cause 4. Out of those, DLD, which one was your pick?
For me, it would probably be Spider-Man. It was out of all the games this year I did get to play, it was the most satisfying to play as an action game, and it felt the most complete in terms of being a superhero.
Okay. Yeah, uh, like most of the game, all the games in the list were really good. There's a few like Mulaka is one of the ones that's least well known. It's an indie game, but it's it's a low poly art style, and the game is ridiculously fun to play. So it's the one of the reasons it's in the list is because it's so good, and it's informative to tell people, hey, y'all need to play that motherfucking game, pretty much. Uh, so uh, the community choice for best action game is Red Dead Redemption 2. Dark Child's choice was Hitman 2. Lolly's choice and my choice was Marvel Spider-Man, and the winner of best action game is Marvel Spider-Man. The plan again, because timing didn't allow for it. We do have images made, and I'm gonna show you one of them real quick. But just to give you an idea, so we were gonna have these. I couldn't get them all in time, but so we're gonna have that. That's the award image. Thank you to Damien who made them. Won't have them all in. They will be up on the website, and they're all being sent over to Steam and the publishers and developers, and you will see many of them on Steam from this year and going forward into the future years. This is the plan. They will look similar to this, maybe some of the different colors. We can edit this, change the year and the award winner. But now we have a template for it. So again, thank you, Damien Knight Live in HD for that. Yeah, Marvel Spider-Man is the winner. We're going to go ahead and move into the next one and see if I can be a little bit faster on pausing the video this time before it shows the next category. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Awkwardness as we wait. Okay, here we go. Alrighty, so that's the category Best Adventure Game. Those nominees for Best Adventure are A Way Out, Life is Strange 2, Far Lone Sales, Leisure Suit Larry, Wet Dreams Don't Dry. Dead in Vinland, Verdant Skies, Do Not Feed the Monkeys, The Norwood Suite, and This Is the Police 2. What was your pick for that one, DLD?
See, this was a tough one for me because I played a little bit of this police to try and get the game for a future review, and I liked that game a lot. But I think my vote for this would have to go to what was the first game you played that you stated?
A Way Out?
Yeah, A Way Out. I haven't played the game, but I've looked at the game, and it looks really good, and it's truly a co-op game. You have to kind of survive as an adventure.
Right. So the community choice was Life is Strange 2. My choice was A Way Out. Dark Child's and Linea's choice was Far Lone Sales, and Far Lone Sales was my number two. It would definitely have been my number two pick. So best adventure game of 2018 is Far Lone Sales. And see, we have this one this time. We have it. We like bam. It looks a little.
It's like bam, right on the
Right
street.
there. See, we have that one up. We got it. We did it. We did a thing. There it is. So you can kind of see how what I was going for. I don't have the other ones put in, unfortunately. So from here on out, all we're going to have is the announcement of who won. But again, you'll have each of these. They'll be put up on the TDM website along with the announced winners and stuff a bit later. Far Lone Sales, though, is an incredible game. It's a somewhat fairly unique gaming experience as well. If you've never got a chance to play it, definitely one worth picking up. The next category is best role-playing game. We're gonna go ahead and do that one. We're gonna do that thing. Ha ha ha. Okay, so that was the nominees for best role-playing game. In case you didn't get to see them because the box cut stuff off, is best role-playing game nominees are God of War, Death's Gambit, Dragon Quest XI, Monster Hunter World, Darksiders 3, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Shadows Awakening, Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom, and Mutineer Zero: Road to Eden. There are some worthy mentions here, of course. Bard's Tale 4 is a 20, 25, 30 year long game series that has kind of been waiting. It was a successful Kickstarter game. They released it this year, not without issues, but there are some extremely standout parts of Bard's Tale 4. And as a role-playing game, it is one that someone who gets some time and has some spare money during maybe a winter sale and loves RPGs is going to want to check out, along with Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire and Pathfinder Kingmaker. What do you think? What was your pick for out of those?
Well, see, this is the toughie for me because the honorable mentions hit a lot of ones home that I thought were really good this year from what I have played so far of them. But this year, the biggest impact for me, even though I haven't had the biggest chance to play it, was God of War. It was one of the games everybody was waiting for this year, and it didn't disappoint on what it was supposed to bring home to the table. It brought more. It had its issues, I will admit, but you can overlook the issues because of what God of War is. It's a story that inherently has flaws, but the flaws kind of build a better world around Kratos and his life.
See, you say it had issues. I didn't see any issues. Maybe one, and it's really not so much of an issue as it just didn't have co-op. It would have been better if you had option to play co-op, and I could have you or Lolly or somebody here run around as boy.
Yes, that's probably the biggest thing I wanted. Is
better
boy.
Better yet. Let me do this right. Boy. Okay. No.
Boy.
Too cringe. Okay. But yes. So the community choices that was Monster Hunter World was the community vote for RPG. Dark Child's vote was for Mutant Year Zero: Road to Eden. Mine. It was a tough one for me because, and here's the thing, I like God of War. There was nothing wrong with God of War at all. Nothing. In fact, it was nearly a perfect game. Darksiders 3 was also nearly a perfect game. But the art style, the combat, the fact that Darksiders could be especially challenging, it added a new spin on a style of RPG that is growing rapidly. So I mean, my pick was for Darksiders 3. However, because this came out as a 4-way vote, and the way we do tiebreakers is, and so the tiebreaker, God of War 1. And like I didn't review God of War. Nobody on TDM reviewed God of War. But if we had, and I had reviewed it, I would have given it a 99 straight up. God of War 1. And I said again with a close second was Monster Hunter World and Darksiders 3. Mutant Year Zero was fourth, but it came in a long distance fourth. And here's the thing: we're talking about an RPG. A big part of an RPG is the story. While Monster Hunter had some great gameplay, as did God of War, it doesn't really hold up in terms of story. So it makes sense that God of War wins. Boy always wins. All right, so the next category is best platformer. Let's get it done. It started too soon. I was distracted by shinies. Okay, so in case again you missed the nominees for best platformer, they are Death's Gambit, Dead Cells, Spyro Trilogy, Chasm, Celeste, The Adventure Pals, The Messenger, Guacamelee 2, and Furwind. DLD, what was your pick, sir?
Well, again, this was kind of a toughie for me because while I haven't played most of these games, I've seen gameplay for most of these games, and I have to say they've impressed me this year. This has been a genre that prior years hasn't really done as well in my eyes, but this year it's done extremely well. I, as much as I want to say it's Spyro because I'm a huge Spyro fan, I have to give this one to Dead Cells because it came out of nowhere, unexpected for me, and I can watch people play this game over and over and not get bored. That's how good it is.
The community would agree as their pick was Dead Cells. And Darkchild would agree as his pick was Dead Cells. And Dead Cells is an amazing game. I cannot deny that. My pick overall was Death's Gambit. The reason I picked Death's Gambit is the actual platforming obviously stands out most in Dead Cells, and this is the platformer category. But overall, I found myself to having a more enjoyable experience with Death's Gambit. It had a very deep story. It had replay value in the story, but it was also a Souls-like game with it was an action platformer, and it was some of the best pixel art I've ever seen in a pixel game. Dead Cells again has great pixel art. Lolinia's choice was Celeste. The 2018 Best Platformer of the Year goes to Dead Cells. Yeah. I'm gonna check up on some of the chat real quick. I also have a prediction for Game of the Year next year, Division 2, unless it launches a shit show. No, Game of the Year next year depends on what game releases, because there's a bunch. But actually, you know what? I feel like I should save that conversation for the end, but I'll have it now. We have a little bit of time. Division 2 is not going to, simply because it's a Ubisoft game. People hate Ubisoft, so they're not going to give it Game of the Year. Well, and I like it, and it's a possible. I mean, who knows? It's a possibility. But the ones I see, Kingdom Hearts 3, Anthem, or Days Gone. However, there's two particular games that if they do release next year, I don't see any game having a chance, and the first one is Cyberpunk 2077. If it releases, then I don't see it. And there's another Dying Light 2, because they're taking everything that made one Dying Light great and then adding Chris Avalon, who is like the king of narrative in the video game industry, adding narrative and replay value to it, and then Metro. Now, the reason Crosscode didn't make RPG of the Year, there's a couple reasons but straight up honesty is I don't feel they had really good business practices. Ultimately, I thought it hurt the quality of their game because of how they did things. It's not a terrible game, but I don't feel that it was in the same quality as the other games in the list, which is the main decision, obviously. But the business side of it, hey, we're developing this game, we're in early access, but we're going to put it in bundles and let you buy it for $1. It's cool from a consumer side, but someone that bought that game full price or backed that game got completely shit on. Now, did they deliver a good product? Yes. But there's that kind of that in between is one of those things I hate getting into. You start talking about the amount someone spends on a game. If I go and I buy a game for $60 game and then they give it away for free a week later, that pisses me off, especially if they're not going to turn around and then give me something in place of it. They're not really saying thanks, to the people who supported them at the beginning, sort of thing. I don't like I don't believe they have. They don't show thanks. They don't. They're not. They don't have gratitudes towards their consumers, the people that really supported them, kind of thing. Uh, but that said, again, the game is a good game. It is a pretty good game. It's just in terms of the games in the list, it just didn't hold up to the quality of the games in that list. It Cool even brought it up, and it it didn't make the worthy mentions. I don't know why, to be honest. It was kind of an overlook. Uh, then we talked about Furwind. Furwind is it didn't get a lot of love. It was a really kind of overlooked game. There was a couple other Fox platformers that are really cool, but Furwind actually has depth to it, where the other games are more you collect coins and you bounce on stuff's heads. Yeah, like it was saying, Cyberpunk and Dying Light 2 make it next year. I'm pretty sure one of those two will be Game of the Year, but I have a feeling those are going to be early 2020 games, not 2019. If it is 2019, they'll be December, November, October, November, December releases. All right, the next category is Best Visual Novel. Okay, here we go. Let's. Alrighty, so that was the nominees for Best Visual Novel. And I'm not gonna lie, there is a little bit of controversy over one of the games being in this list. The anime just ruined this video. Well, you know, I learned something is that I might actually like video editing, though these are basic videos, to be honest. I took clips, I found clips from games that were in there, and I found the best parts, or at least some of the better parts of the videos that I had, clipped them together, and that's what you get today. The nominees for Best Visual Novel, and at the end I'll explain a little bit, but Fatal 12, Island, Steins Gate Zero, Sorcery Jokers, Little Busters, Corpse Party Book of Shadows, The House in Fata Morgana, or Requiem for Innocence, and Dead in Vinland. Now, the community choice was Steins Gate Zero. Lolly's choice is The House of Fata Morgana, Requiem of Innocence. DLD, what was your pick?
This was probably the toughest picks for me. For those who don't know what I do, I'm a visual novel reviewer foremost for TDM with Lowly. And I've actually reviewed 3 of the games on this list, so it's actually a tough call. Out of the entire list, though, my pick has to go to Island. It's emotional, but it does the emotion so well with a well-told story, and it actually explains itself in a way you understand when you get to the end of the whole deal.
Yeah, I watched. I mean, I wouldn't say watched, but I know quite a bit about Island and Fatal 12, and I actually watched a lot of Fatal 12. Both of those games look amazing. Steins Gate, that whole series is incredible. This is the part we get into with these other two. So, Corpse Party Book of Shadows and Dead in Vinland. So as you know that they're in the gaming industry, there are hybrid games or games that are several types of games in one. So if you look at Mutineer Zero, for example, it's an RPG and it's a strategy game. If you look at Assassin's Creed, it's a action game. It's an action adventure game. It's open world, and now it's a role playing game. And including this year, it's a game with narrative. It's not. Last year it was a game with looting and talent trees with character progression. This year you have all that. Then they added narrative with replay value to it. With Corpse Party is an adventure game where the story is told with a visual novel format. Again, with Dead in Vinland is a strategy game, a simulation game, an RPG game, an adventure game, and a visual novel. The over half of the game of Dead in Vinland is the visual novel format. The other half is a mix of simulation, adventure, and strategy. Darkchild, his pick for best visual novel was Dead in Vinland, and my pick for best visual novel was Dead in Vinland, which gives Dead in Vinland the visual novel game of the year. So congrats to Dead in Vinland for being visual novel of the year. The next category is strategy game. I'll go ahead and start that video. Alrighty, that was the nominees video for best strategy game. In case again you missed it, the nominees for strategy game are BattleTech, Into the Breach, Phantom Doctrine, Surviving Mars, 2 Point Hospital, Jurassic World Evolution, RimWorld, Ancestors Legacy, and Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden. DLD?
Well, here's the thing. I haven't played any of these games technically, so I have to go by what I've been presented through streams and everything for this one. And based on the games that, sorry, that I've seen so far from that list, it would more than likely have to go to Road to Eden. It's odd in the sense that I thought I'd never pick that one, but it was the most interesting to look at. But it also does what it does in that genre very well.
Alrighty. The community's choice is Jurassic World Evolution. Lolly's choice was 2 Point Hospital. Dark Child's choice was BattleTech, and my choice was BattleTech. Out of all the games, and I've played every last one of them. BattleTech I got to play earlier in the year, and I recently got to play the expansion for it, the first expansion for it. BattleTech is a game that it has multiplayer modes, and you can play with friends or people online, but it also has a game that features many choices on how you load your character, how you build your character, and then tons and tons and tons of dialogue and narrative and stuff on top of it being a strategy game. And the attention to detail in the art is nuts. Like when you are in the game and you're in combat, each mech has 100 parts or so that can break and fall apart, and depending on what breaks and falls apart actually affects the combat of the game. So best strategy game goes to BattleTech, which awesome. Thanks Hairbrain Schemes and Paradox. It's a great experience having gotten to play it. The next category is Best MMO RPG and Survival Game. Hey, what up, Rexy? How you doing? Mutant Year Zero and RimWorld. Yeah, I mean, like I said, all the game in there were ridiculously good. RimWorld is probably the one I played the least. I actually, when I was looking, I actually changed my mind a bunch of times because of Jurassic World Evolution and Mutant Year Zero. BattleTech in the end it got the vote. Right, let's go ahead and start up the video for best MMORPG and or survival game. Alrighty, so that was the video nominees for Best MMORPG and Survival Game. those nominees were, and getting in case you missed it, were Maple Story 2, Boundless, Shroud of the Avatar, Terra on PS4 and Xbox, The Forest, Dauntless, Warframe on the Switch, Conan Exiles, and Miscreated. DLD!
Alright, this one, I will say I had a hard thought process on this one at first, but for me, it's got to be Shroud of the Avatar. It is one of those games that I didn't see coming as a game for me to be good, but having played it for so long and seeing it actually come to fruition this year and still be supported the way it has proven that a game done years after by a developer years after in the same style can still work, which is really nice.
Yeah. I like what Nero just said. Like Warframe isn't an MMORPG. I mean, didn't they originally categorize it as one though? And a lot of some of the stuff in here, like, I mean, I wouldn't have categorized games that you can host a server on where the max people is 64 on a server as an MMORPG either, but people do it, and it angers me, which is why I combined survival and MMORPG. Some games are like there's going to be a game called Atlas that is releasing in early access tomorrow, and that game you have 40,000 people on the server. Now that's pretty massive. So the community choice for this one was Shroud of the Avatar. Lolly's choice was Terra. Dark Child's choice was Shroud of the Avatar, and my choice was Shroud of the Avatar. And I mean, wrong. Like Shroud of the Avatar had a lot of issues through its early access time, and probably took longer in early access than it needed to. But it fixed a lot of stuff, and the community of the game drives that game so much. Like it's one of the best communities in a video game I've ever seen, and and to that point, it's kind of ridiculous. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and play the next category. This one is fighting game. There you have it. Those were the nominees for fighting game. There's actually surprisingly amount of insanely good fighting games that came out this year, like ridiculously good fighting games that came out this year. One just barely making the deadline to make it into this year's awards. Dragon Ball Fighter Z, Soul Calibur 6, League Blaze, WWE 2K19. Yes, it is technically a fighting game, wrestling and fighting game, but it counts. Fire Pro Wrestling World, which is actually more of a fighting game than a wrestling game. Dissidia, Final Fantasy NT, Guts, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Fighting EX Layer. And DLD, what was your thoughts?
Alright, I have to say this year for fighting games has been really good. Like, I didn't expect there to be so many good fighting games to come out this year. And while I haven't had a chance to play all of them, like I would like to, say Dragon Ball Z Fighters, for example, the ones I have a chance to play that really influenced me the most was the one that came out the very end of the year, which was Smash Ultimate. They did so much to that game that, while not perfect, it is far from perfect, missing modes that from the other games I wish they had kept. It is still probably one of the best incarnations of Smash that we've got, and I think it'll last a lot longer than Melee ever could.
I'm not actually played a Smash Brothers game since the original Smash Brothers game. So Evrock, your comment about Slap City, the reason it isn't in here is because it was an early access game. We don't put early access games in any category other than early access. Once they're officially released, if they release between December 17th to December 17th, then they get to make the list. Because there's a couple, like Brawlout is a worthy mention. There's a pretty good game. So the community choice for fighting game was Dragon Ball FighterZ. Lolly's choice was Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Dart Child's choice was Dragon Ball FighterZ, and my choice was Dragon Ball FighterZ, which gives Dragon Ball FighterZ the fighting game of the year. Dragon Ball Fighter on top, it's a tag game, so you got 3 characters that you fight as. Almost every character has its own unique fighting style. Even going from Goku, they all play differently, which is pretty awesome. It's probably the best 2D fighter I've ever seen. The animation style is insane. There's so many different combos and moves that you can do. There's an insane amount of variety there. It's and it's just extremely fluid in terms of how you fight. The fighting is unparalleled in the actual fighting part of the game. Now, content wise, Smash Brothers has more content. The campaign in Dragon Ball FighterZ is pretty cool. It fits somewhat weirdly into the Dragon Ball storyline. Dragon Ball Fighter is the fighting game of the year. The next category is multiplayer / co-op game. Now, these are games that are either predominantly played in co-op or multiplayer. Here we go. that was nominees for multiplayer co-op game. Here they are again, in case you didn't catch the little text. As always, there are Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Battlefield 5, A Way Out, The City of Final Fantasy NT, Laser League, Warhammer Vermintide 2, Strange Brigade, Far Cry 5, and Rapture Rejects. This was kind of a hard category. Vermintide 2 is insanely good. Far Cry 5, while the co-op, like I would never play that game single player because it has co-op, but there are issues with the co-op, such as progression doesn't carry over, or you don't get certain rewards as the co-op player. But the actual game itself is incredibly fun to play in co-op, and it's a pretty high quality game. Then A Way Out is a game that is fairly unique. Yes, it's an adventure game and it is a co-op game, but the way they use the co-op and the way they change the cameras and the way stuff happens and the replay value within the game is insanely high. And then Call of Duty Black Ops 4, they got rid of their story mode entirely, and they added Battle Royale this year to the Call of Duty game, and the Battle Royale mode is the most polished and the most fun Battle Royale game out on the market right now. DLD?
This is one of the tough categories for me because I haven't played a lot of these games, if at all. The ones I did play, the ones that I've watched and played the most, that stuck out to me, and the one I think that was the most fun, was Rapture Rejects. If only just because it was weird, insane, but creative enough that that the dev team from behind Heavens to Cyanide actually made an interesting multiplayer experience that lasts. Whereas some other games, it's kind of more of a you play a couple times, then it's done situation. Personally, for me.
So Rapture Rejects.
Rapture Rejects.
The art is insanely great in that game, and the fact that there's an item called an F-bomb, where you throw a bomb and it explodes, leaves a cloud of smoke, but then it says "fuck" when you throw it. It's hilarious. So the community choice was Vermintide 2. Lolly's choice was Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Dark Child's choice was A Way Out, and Jaw's choice was A Way Out, which gives A Way Out the best multiplayer / co-op game of 2018. We're gonna move on quickly to the next one. The next one is Best Early Access Game. I'll tell you now, Lolly abstained from this category as he did not really get to play or see a lot of the games. And otherwise, it was unanimous across the board. We're going to play the video anyway, and here it is. Best Early Access Game of 2018. Alright, and those nominees were once again It Lurks Below, They Are Billions, Blackout Club, Breach, Fail Seal, Arbiter's Mark, My Time at Porsche, Outpost Zero, and Hades. Of course, if Atlas had released the day they originally said it would, it probably would have made this list, but it didn't. So, oh well. DLD.
This one's tough because I haven't really played any of these. So again, I have to go by what I've seen and what's kept my interest over through just being a viewer of these games. Obviously, I think the one that I've watched the most and the one that I think stands out is We Are Billions. It's weird. It's one of those things that I can't explain, but it works well enough that I hope that when it does get its early access, that I hope the improvements they can make on the game will be amazing.
All right, so They Are Billions.
Yes.
All right, Willie, are you here?
Willie,
I guess not.
Here, brother?
Okay. So the community choice, Dark Child's choice, and my choice was It Lurks Below. It Lurks Below is developed by David Brevik, who is known as the godfather of Diablo. He created Diablo 1, Diablo 2, went on to help create Hellgate London at Flagship Studios. Then went on. I mean, he of course he helped make a lot of other games, but this is his genre. He created this genre, and then he went on to start Gazillion Entertainment, which then made Marvel Heroes, and they did some cool stuff with that game. And one of the things that's important about that one was that it started off rough. They, instead of giving up and like a lot of companies would have, they stuck it through, listened to the community, basically remade the game. And they actually remade the game 2 or 3 times almost, but they turned the game around, they turned the company around. It became an incredibly good game. Hey, what up, Go Publix? Good to see you could make it. I appreciate it. And he retired, and unfortunately some stuff happened with Gazillion and Marvel Heroes, which they're no longer around. But he went on to start Graybeard Games. He made his own game he's working on as a solo project. It Lurks Below. It's takes some things, some survival mechanics. I'm not calling it a survival game, but it takes some survival mechanics, mixes it with a Terraria-style Metroidvania sandbox game, and then adds in a Diablo shooter with classes. And eventually, he's adding multiplayer. He's doing events in the game. He's going to add an actual overall story, and there are more classes and just all this other stuff. It's just a crazy, ridiculously good game, and it could it's sold now, and I still say that if you release the game right now, it could be a full product because it's just that much fun and there's that much to do. We are gonna go ahead and do our next category. Our next category is horror. And one of the other things about It Lurks Below and David Brevik, they took part in the 12 Days of Indie this year, him and his wife, Jungle Queen, who is a Twitch partner. They stream together usually, and they're incredibly entertaining. But he shaved his beard and wore makeup and a wig for the charity event that we planned. And it was insane. And the guy is like one of my video game idols almost, developer idols. Like the dude has made the genre that I love, and so having him on the charity event that I help put together, and doing that was insane to me. The guy's company is Graybeard Games, and he no longer has a beard. All right, here's the video for horror. Alrighty. So, in case you missed it, those nominees for Best Horror are Call of Cthulhu, Transference, which Transference is the game with Elijah Wood, God's Basement, Stifled, Agony, Lust for Darkness, Home Sweet Home, Corpse Party, Book of Shadows, and The Forest. DLD.
Well, this one's going to be an interesting one because out of all the games that were on that list, most of them I watched. But one of them I actually happen to own. Not the console version, obviously, but not the PC version, obviously, but the console version. And I happen to enjoy that game quite a bit. I think it stood out this year pretty happily, but for me this year, I think the best horror game was actually Agony. If only because when I watched Agony, I legitimately felt scared at several points in that game. It's very rare a horror game gives me scare in this modern day era.
Right, I can see that. Agony also has a lot of shock value in it, as does Lust for Darkness. So, Call of Cthulhu is the community choice. Corpse Party Book of Shadows was Lolly's choice. Call of Cthulhu was Darkchild's choice. And Call of Cthulhu was my choice, which means Call of Cthulhu got Horror Game of the Year. All of the games, again, were very, very, very good games. Agony, it had some performance and some technical issues, which were unfortunate. The game crashed a lot. But if you can look aside those things, or, some people, they didn't happen to. They just, they were some of the lucky ones. Then Agony was ridiculously high in visual quality. Probably the highest among all the games on the list. And it was just creepy. And there was a lot of, oh my god, they put that in a video game in there. Also, I want to say hello to Lady Aishu and Bolting Slash. Welcome. Call of Cthulhu gets Best Horror Game of 2018. The next category is Best Sports/Racing Game. Let's do it, yeah. Alrighty, so those nominees are Forza Horizon 4, Mutant League Football Dynasty Edition, Madden 19, FIFA 19, Crew 2, WWE 2K19, Fire Pro Wrestling World, Lethal League Blaze, and Pro Evolution Soccer 2019. We are going to kind of just move past this one. The community chose Forza 4. The Lolly chose Forza 4. Draw chose Forza Horizon 4. And Darkchild chose Mutant League Football Dynasty Edition, which gives that to Forza Horizon 4. And I will say Forza Horizon, the series, gets better every game. After 3, it was the best racing game I've ever played. The Hot Wheels expansion was one of the best add-on content DLCs I've ever played from the game before. Forza Horizon 4, I don't know if they're going to do a continued and do a DLC for Hot Wheels as well for this one, but Forza Horizon 4 is by far the best racing game I've ever played. The amount of content, the cars, the tracks, the way the whole co-op multiplayer works, and then the season stuff is ridiculous. There's just so much that you can do in that racing game. But hundreds of cars. Every car changes the base on the stuff that you put in it. Every car feels different. And then it just looks good. So Forza Horizon 4 is the sports slash racing game of 2018. The next category is add-on content, and this category is, it can either be an expansion, a DLC, or a free update to a game, which you will find some of these are free updates. So here they are. Alrighty, so that is. Did the wrong video get played? I think it did. Whoops. No, it played the right one. Professional streamers, right? Am I right? Yeah. So it was best add-on content. The nominees for this one were Elder Scrolls Online Somerset, Warframe Fortuna, Ark Extinction, No Man's Sky Next, For Honor Marching Fire, which, I mean, I got to give it a shout out because last year For Honor was our one that was like the runner-up for shit show of the year, and this year that expansion was ridiculously good and kind of turned the game around. BattleTech Flashpoint, Conan Exiles, The Savage Frontier. Now, to be clear, it's the Savage Frontier free update they did, not the $10 DLC that adds cosmetics. Civilization 6 Rise and Fall, Highway Blossoms Remastered. The community for this one chose No Man's Sky Next. Lolly chose Highway Blossoms Remastered. Dark Child chose Civilization 6 Rise and Fall, and I chose No Man's Sky Next, which gives No Man's Sky Next the best add-on content slash expansion DLC of the year. And it's kind of a big deal because the game had a lot of issues. There was a lot of drama and controversy around the game, and Next, like Killshot said, is basically a Cinderella story. They launched it alongside of the Xbox One launch. It added co-op slash multiplayer to the game, added so much to the game. It's basically a whole new game with the core of No Man's Sky. And then since then, they've done another massive update. But it's No Man's Sky Next set up No Man's Sky becoming a going from being a game to being a amazing game. So congratulations to No Man's Sky on that one. Uh, we will be going in and going back to the usual format, letting DLD pick and stuff for the next one. The next several categories are best visual design, best soundtrack, overall audio, and overall story. Then there's best remake, remaster, re-release, best indie game, best PlayStation game of the year, indie game of the year, Nintendo game of the year, gaming service or platform of the year, studio of the year, PC game of the year, shit show, and game of the year. And I will go ahead, go publish if you're still here. Some of the games that you handle are in this award show. So cool, right? All right, let's do this. We're gonna show the video for best visual design. Alrighty, so that was best visual design. Those nominees are Red Dead Redemption 2, Marvel Spider-Man, God of War, Monster Hunter World, Death's Gambit, Darksiders 3, Starlink Battle for Atlas, Jurassic World Evolution, and Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden. DLD.
This one for me, there's a lot of games this year that have been visual marvels for me. I have to give that one to Monster Hunter World, if just because other Monster Hunter games have not been this visually standing, and the fact that they're able to get that style of visual with the same monsters but redesigned and look that good just stands out from any game in the series to by far.
Right on. I can respect that. Monster Hunter, it did have some things like the one thing that kind of held Monster Hunter back in my eyes was that it, while it had it was very pretty, it was still very pastel. So it was still kind of washed out. Where God of War, every new realm, zone, map area you went to, it was its own thing, and they did a really insanely good use of colors while also trying to keep it somewhat hyper realistic. Not nearly to the same kind of art style as Red Dead Redemption, which is extremely realistic. The community choice was for Monster Hunter World. Lolly's choice was for Boy Simulator 2018, aka God of War. Dark Child's choice was for Darksiders 3, and my choice was for Darksiders 3. Um, Darksiders 3 takes the comic book style, which it's based on comic book sort of, and it makes it unique. You don't see a lot of games out there that use an art style similar to Darksiders, and in a year where so many games are going with this realistic look, they stuck to what made the game part of why it was so well known. Uh, and again, they have so many great use of colors. Again, going from zone to zone, the character herself, the Fury. When you gain a new hollow, it changes the way her hair color is, and it's the element of your secondary weapon and her hair, and it moves differently. Her abilities change, and the way all the particle effects work. It's incredibly beautiful, and it runs well. So the best visual design goes to Darksiders 3 for 2018. The next category, doing something slightly different. We have all the music that we're using today is from Envy or ENV. A lot of it is from the Electronic Superjoy soundtrack or music that he makes free through SoundCloud. However, this next one is for best soundtrack. So, give you a little bit of a spoiler. The song that we're going to use is from the game that is winning the best soundtrack. So, here it is.
In Scarabrae became a wintry night. Foes from below, blood on the snow, bright crimson on white. A madman's story of ancient glory brought death from far away. For eldritch power did Mangar scour the depths of Scarabrae. Snow in summer, ice in my heart, death's cold fingers tear us apart. Snow in summer, ice in my heart, death's cold fingers tear us apart. 'Gainst Mangar's horde we took up sword and fought from dawn to dawn. Though we did win too many kin, gave life to see them gone. To Mangar's lair we took the snare, its hooks did end his reign. Now there it lies, if e'er he rise, to bring him low again. Snow in summer, ice in my heart, death's cold fingers tear us apart. Snow in
So, as it's been said, spoiler alert: Bard's Tale gets soundtrack of the year. It was mostly unanimous. Community choice, Dark Child's choice, Draw's choice. With my second choice would have been Life is Strange 2, and that was Lolly's choice. DLD, thoughts? You reviewed Bard's Tale.
Yeah, it would be Bard's Tale. Since I got to review that game, and the music was probably my favorite part of that game as a whole. As I was just playing through it, I would just listen to the tunes as you went to different areas change to fit the area, and the bard singing was just one of the best things ever.
Yep. And also, hey Wags, I sold. I thought you guys were gonna make it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see you guys when we started, so I made announcements and stuff. I was really sad. Yeah, so I mean, Bard's Tale wins soundtrack of the year. The next one is overall audio. This overall audio means sound, ambience, soundtrack, ambience, special effects, voice acting, the whole work of audio for the entire game. Alrighty, so this is best overall audio. The nominees were Red Dead Redemption 2, Transference, A Way Out, Far Cry 5, Life is Strange 2, Marvel's Spider-Man, God of War, Bard's Tale 4, and Dragon Quest 11. Again, so this one was a ridiculously hard because, I mean, not just including soundtrack, but you had such great voice acting and special effects. I mean, Dragon Quest 11 is kind of cartoony and cringy in it, but you know it's what they go for. You know, it's part of the series. So knowing that, you in a way, and them sticking to that, you kind of give them credit to it. And then like God of War, the audio and the voice acting is great. They got extremely good acting talent behind it as well. The ambience, the special effects and stuff is incredible. Transference, Spider-Man, all ridiculously good games, and again with a really good voice cast. Far Cry 5 is probably kind of the middle ground, but the main villain in Far Cry 5 and the main villain in every Far Cry game actually, like they deserve awards for being just like some of the best villains in any game. I mean, that's actually an idea for a future award. Life is Strange 2, again, like the soundtracks of every Life is Strange game, they're just phenomenal. And then you get into the voice acting, they're great. When you start getting into some of the other sound effects, Life is Strange starts to fall off. A Way Out is another well-rounded, insanely good game for audio, and Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of those things where like your beard grows over time and you can hear your beard blowing in the wind, your hair, your clothes flapping. the birds, the type of bird or animal, the distance of way it is, the nuances that go into the Red Dead Redemption 2 audio. It's why it's runner up. However, Bard's Tale 4 is the overall audio of the year. Again, Bard's Tale, on top of the soundtrack itself, the way they use it. So, one, it's a fantasy game. Uh, but it's Bard's Tale. The music is themed as if it's a bard playing this music. If you were to go into a tavern, and that's the kind of music you'd expect. But then they have audio cues and stuff where all over the game world there's different dialogue happening, and some of it changes based on the race that you pick, the class that you pick, the special effects and like the water dropping. There's just extremely high fidelity in the audio. While Bard's Tale had a lot of issues with its gameplay or technical side of things, the game was really unrivaled in the audio. But if there was one or even close to it, would be Red Dead Redemption 2. Bard's Tale being the overall audio winner of the year. DLD, thoughts?
Honestly, no. I agree with you completely on this. Bard's Tale 4, once again, to me, cements its legacy right here and there, because I played, I think it was a human rogue when I was doing my playthrough of the game, and people had discussed it for me because I was a rogue. Yet, if I was around my bard or my other person, they'd be like, oh, they're just some random compatriot that's following around a bard or some bard or another person. And they always would change their dialogue based on what I was doing. That, and you walk in these zones, and yeah, the soundtrack's minimal. When you're not in combat or you're listening to the singing, you hear the nature around you, the crisping of leaves. It's impactful on where you are based on what you're doing.
Yep. All right, next category is overall story. For best remake and overall story, unfortunately, we're gonna have to fly through some of these as we got 18 minutes left and we got like 10 categories left to go. So, two of them we don't have videos to play, so we'll play some of these by ear. But overall story, we're gonna play the video. We're gonna announce the winner and discuss. I'm not gonna do all the category or all the nominees for the next couple, just to kind of save some time. So the next one is best overall story. All right, so that was the nominees for best overall story. The community choice pick was God of War. Lolly's choice was God of War. Darkchild's pick was Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire, and my pick was God of War, which gives best overall story for 2018 to God of War. It's incredible, makes you laugh, makes you cry, makes you boy, makes you want to replay so you can do more boy, play boy, do boy things, shooting with arrows and stuff. Boy, 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 boy. The next category is Best Remake, Remaster, or Re-Release. Let's roll that beautiful bean footage. Okie dokie. So, best remake, remaster, re-release. That one goes to Spyro Reignited Trilogy. With again, there's a worthy mention to Bard's Tale Trilogy because these two games, especially where they've more or less redeveloped these games, graphics and all from the ground up. Spyro, having been the community choice, Lolly's choice. Probably my third. Me and Dark both picked Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition. Spyro is an incredibly fun, like the fact that it wasn't like just a remake or a re-release or a remaster, like they did it all. So congrats to Spyro Reignited Trilogy for being the best remake remaster for 2018. Indie Game of the Year is next. Before we get into that one, there's two I'm going to mention because we're not doing videos for them, and we'll discuss these a little bit. There's Gaming Service or Platform of the Year, and this one, I'm going to be honest, the way we had to do this one is because every single person, including community, picked a different one, and it's kind of a tough one. So the nominees for Gaming Service were Steam, Discord, which I have to say LOL. A few years ago, our community manager at the time, a good friend of mine, the Living King, he said Discord is a platform. At the time, it wasn't a platform. Now it is, so we actually had to put it in the list. GOG, PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, Nintendo 3/2DS, Twitch, and Epic with a worthy mention to Blizzard, because hey, I mean, they finally got games on their platform that aren't just Blizzard games. The winner is Steam. It's a notable worthy topic to talk about because Epic is on here, and Epic throughout the year had issues where they had been hacked or the accounts had been breached. People had hundreds of dollars charged to their accounts. Friends of ours, people who are in our community, have had it happen to them. I've actually had my account be attempted to get logged into, but because I have two-factor and all that stuff, they haven't been able to access it. Epic recently launched publishing on their platform, 12% cut And so developers are pulling out of Steam because Steam decides they want the 30 to 40% cut for their platform. And they're also allowing a bunch of other games that a lot of people don't necessarily want their games associated with. So Steam is making a shitload of bad decisions. Epic has been hacked. GOG is always overlooked. PS4, while they haven't really done anything bad in terms of their gaming platform, Sony themselves have made some piss poor decisions in terms of some of the other products and licenses they own. But then Discord, it's since they added the store, it's caused issues to the actual chat and community services they have. But Xbox, they didn't really do anything this year. I think they released 3 actual real exclusives as a platform. Nintendo Switch is the fastest selling console in the history of the gaming industry. But Steam is the one that won the award, and it's because of how we have to do our tiebreakers. Honestly, I think Steam probably even shouldn't have been on the list this year, but out of due diligence, we had to. So congratulations to Steam. Please don't kill the platform and fix your shit. Then Studio of the Year. This one is, the nominees are Rockstar, which they made Red Dead Redemption 2. Motion Twin, they made Dead Cells. Insomniac Games, they made Marvel Spider-Man. And then recently, they got a game that was originally an Xbox exclusive, published to Steam PC, called Sunset Overdrive, which is the PC version. Is a very good version. Check it out. Only $20, worth it. So they have 2 games released this year, sort of technically published at least. SIE Santa Monica Studio, they made God of War. Hairbrain Schemes, they made BattleTech. Playground Games, they made Forza Horizon 4. White Rabbit, they made Death Gambit. Gunfire Games made Darksiders 3, and Funcom, they made Conan Exiles and Mutineer Zero. The winner of that category is SIE Santa Monica Studio. The Soldier Boy console's loss. Shame. Alright, so now we go back to the actual categories. Now we got those 2 out of the way. The next one's is Indie Game of the Year. Try that again. Nominees for Indie of the Game of the Year is Death Gambit, Into the Breach, Mother Gunship, Do Not Feed the Monkeys, Graveyard Keeper, RimWorld, Star Control Origins, Immortal Unchained, and Celeste, with a worthy mention to Frostpunk. And the winner of this category is, well, it's Death Gambit. We got to keep moving, unfortunately. Sorry, DLD. We're short on time, brother. Next category is PlayStation Game of the Year. Alrighty. So the nominees for PlayStation Game of the Year were Red Dead Redemption 2, Marvel Spider-Man, God of War, Monster Hunter World, Dragon Quest XI, Yakuza 6, Divinity Original Sin 2, Definitive Edition, Detroit Become Human, and Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden. DLD.
As I already stated in chat, for me, this one has to go to Spider-Man. I will say it's one of the few games that this year, even though God of War did so well in almost every category it's been in, that it did better than God of War in that set. It made you feel like the actual Spider-Man. The world was full of life. You were doing things to help the public, and it legitimately felt like a good superhero game in a year we haven't had that many good ones.
All right. So God of War was the community choice, Lolinia's choice, and my choice. Divinity Original Sin 2 Enhanced Edition was Dark Child's choice, which gives God of War the PlayStation Game of the Year. Again, God of War is the most well-rounded game, but the one thing I can say is Spider-Man is the first Spider-Man game since Spider-Man 2, or was it 3, where the web slinging, it felt great to just swing around. And in Spider-Man, as you started moving faster and swinging faster, doing different moves as you were swinging, the music changed, which was cool. The story was great, the combat was great, but there were parts of the game that just felt like the game was never going to end, where you never really got that feeling out of God of War. Alright, up next is Xbox Game of the Year. Alright, so those nominees for Xbox Game of the Year are Red Dead Redemption 2, Monster Hunter World, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2, Forza Horizon 4, Starlink Battle for Atlas, Bio Reignited Trilogy, Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition, and Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden. There was very few exclusives to Xbox this year. I think there was 3, maybe 4 total. Sea of Thieves, while it is a fun game, it was rather lacking in content at launch. They've since then added a lot of updates to the game, which makes it more fun to play. There's still not a lot of variety in it, but getting in a boat and sailing across the sea is beautiful in that game. So, I mean, it definitely deserves to be mentioned. State of Decay 2, it was basically State of Decay 1 with co-op, but the co-op was so awful. But the game itself, again, State of Decay, the features of State of Decay and what makes State of Decay 1 great were still in 2. So, I mean, it is a great game. Forza Horizon 4 being the best exclusive out this year, of course, won the vote. It came down to, it was a 4-way tie across the board, and again, the way we break ties, Forza Horizon 4 won. It was Community Choice was Sea of Thieves, Lolly's Choice was Monster Hunter World, Dark Child's Choice was Divinity Original Sin 2, and my choice was Forza Horizon 4. The next category is PC Game of the Year. And then we have a large discussion to go to for the next category after. But here's PC Game of the Year. Sorry, I was wrong. I meant Nintendo. I did dumb. Okay. So yeah, Nintendo is up next. I knew I was forgetting something. I always forget Nintendo. Everybody forgets Nintendo. Not anymore. Alright, so the nominees for Nintendo Game of the Year are Octopath Traveler, Pokemon Let's Go, Hyrule Warriors Ultimate Generations, or I did that again. Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, Monster Hunter Ultimate Generations, Bayonetta 1 plus 2, Kirby Star Allies, Golf Story, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torn of the Gold Country, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The winner of Nintendo Game of the Year is long dramatic pause. Octopath Traveler. Octopath Traveler is the Nintendo Game of the Year. For real though, Kirby, Stardust Crusaders all the way. Alright, so finally, like I had said before, because, professional streamers and all that, PC Game of the Year is next. Alrighty, so the nominations for PC Game of the Year were Monster Hunter World, Into the Breach, Death's Gambit, Battletech, Mulaka, Immortal Unchained, RimWorld, Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire, and Mutineer Zero Road to Eden, with worthy mentions to Bar Tales 4, Pathfinder Kingmaker, and Ys 8. Squarezack, you said if DOS, what's DOS? What am I missing? Alright, the winner of PC Game of the Year is Battletech. Oh, well, Divinity Original Sin 2 I didn't put on the list because it didn't get an actual official release this year. It got put on the PS4 and Xbox because they had never been on the console before, and then they released officially on the console, where Original Sin 2 had already been on the console, so it didn't get put on here. However, Divinity Original Sin 2 was on the list last year and won. Battletech being the winner of it this year. All right, so the next two categories. The next one is biggest disappointment / overhype. We're gonna call it the shit show award once again. It's the game that was the biggest piece of shit or letdown of the year. We're gonna have a little bit of conversation about this category, of course, but we're gonna play the video. Then we will discuss. All right, so shit show of the year, 2018, is nominees are World of Warcraft, Battle for Azeroth, Fallout 76, Wild West Online, SOS, PUBG, Extinction, Scum, Overkill's The Walking Dead, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Now, this category is a bunch of things, whether it was overhyped, whether it was just a huge flop, it was just all kinds of disappointing, whether it caused controversy, just all that combined into one. So let's discuss a little bit. First off, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Identity is a early access game. These are all games that are published fully and released. That's why Identity's not in there. But Shadow of the Tomb Raider had a lot of type, a lot of big talk behind what it was going to be, and it was none of it. On top, they took things, they took a huge step backwards from the last few games. How they actually had really good puzzles and action. The puzzles in this game were basic. The platforming was awful. It just everything that Tomb Raider fell to shit. And not that it was necessarily an awful game, but it wasn't. It didn't meet their advertising, and it wasn't. They just went backwards. Overkill's The Walking Dead. They had a beta. They didn't seem to fix anything. Then within a month, they have a year or season 1, whatever update where you can get the game for $30, and people just spent $60 on the game. Like, what the fuck? Scum. The game looks good, and it has a system that is very intriguing, but because it's unfinished, and I realize I said the thing about no early access, and then I have Scum in here, so you can slap me later. Scum.
You do it now.
No, stay away. Scum is in this list because it has main features or systems that aren't in the game that rely on other systems that already are in the game, so it ruins the game. Then they decided that they want to have 15 fucking interactions for one button. And that shit is stupid. Now, maybe when the game fully comes out, it may be a solid game. But if I actually reviewed Scum with a score, I probably would have gave it a 3. I had fun playing it because I was playing it with Heel Shot, and it was entertaining. But it was not ready to go into Steam Early Access, and it shouldn't have been yet. And I can say the same thing about Identity. Identity is probably actually worse than Scum was by a long shot. Extinction, and not Arc Extinction, but Extinction again. It was a game that was advertised to be something that it wasn't. It ended up being very boring, very repetitive. PUBG is just PUBG, overhyped giant piece of turd. SOS, they decided to take a unique game mode because Battle Royale, it was already a Battle Royale game, but they had a unique Battle Royale experience, and they completely shit on it to release SOS Battle Royale. Of course, since then, they've decided to release SOS Classic, but they had something that was unique and tried to change it because of gaming trends and completely ruined their game. Wild West Online is basically toilet paper. We get into Fallout 76 and World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth. And these two games were the two that were voted for. It was a tie down the middle between World of Warcraft and Fallout 76. Fallout 76, I'll say this, is while yes, they have done some really stupid-ass business decisions, and there's a lot of controversy behind the game now, including lawsuits, I can say that the game was fun to play. I can say that when the game worked, I had an enjoyable time when it worked. The problem is that it barely works. And then, of course, all the other stupid, silly shit that goes on with it. They did a beta, which you had to pay to get access to. And they released that beta to public. There's no, they did next to nothing before the time released. In fact, I think when they was worse off when they released the game from when it was actually in beta, like the 2 weeks before. World of Warcraft Azeroth, however, they've continued to shit on the lore of Warcraft on top of everything. They have the most boring quest ever in all of Warcraft. It's advertised to be Battle for Azeroth, where it's supposed to be Horde versus Alliance. It's supposed to be in this huge battle, but yet you spend 90% of your time off in a different zone without interacting or having any story involving the other factions whatsoever. you said you spend a bunch of time licking troll tusks and tickling fat people. It has gotten to the point where World of Warcraft is at the lowest amount of subs that's had in the history of World of Warcraft. It has ruined World of Warcraft. This is one of the games that I have played more than any game in the industry, and I have lost interest in ever playing World of Warcraft, and I no longer have faith in Blizzard as a studio when I was such a massive Blizzard fan. And the tiebreaker, of course, would end up being World of Warcraft, so the award for Shit Show of the Year is World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth. So, with that, I get to show you this. Congratulations, Blizzard. Your game sucks ass. Just have a moment of silence for World of Warcraft. Dun, dun, dun. Play some taps. Stick a fork in her, she's done, folks. Oh, let's also mention the fact that they just announced that they won't be doing their 8.5 or whatever, their major update that they were talking is supposed to finally fix a lot of the stuff and add all this content to the game and even new races. They pushed it back till March. So there's been no new content in World of Warcraft for going on 5 months now. Or they'll have no new content for 5 to 6 months or more by then. The only reason Battle for Azeroth won the award, and I won over Fallout 76 is because Fallout 76 could still be an enjoyable experience and it could still be a fun game. I don't think World of Warcraft will ever recover from this. Fallout 76 in 3 to 6 months will, because Bethesda fanboys are Bethesda fanboys. Our final award is coming up, and it is Ultimate Game of the Year. I want to thank you all for coming and hanging out. We will be giving away a couple game codes for Hellfront Honeymoon during Boxcat's stream, which he will be up as soon as our show ends. We'll be announcing the winner and handing it over to him. So I want to appreciate everybody that came out and chatted tonight, everybody that hosted, all of that. Thank you for the support. A big part of thanks to you guys either for being here for the stream or being here for TDM or reviewing whatever. We exist in a lot of part because of you guys. So thank you very much. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. We will be for the next several hours. I think it's 5 to 6 hours after this award show is over. We have Boxcat and Thorstag playing Hellfront Honeymoon, continuing the launch event for that game. On the 30th of December, we have the Hype Show. Every member of TDM can send me their 10 most hyped games. And if they join me, we'll announce them on stream together. And we'll put videos together and we'll announce the upcoming games in 2019. And who knows, maybe some people will find some games they've never even heard of coming out for next year. All right, so with the final award, Drastik Measure Ultimate Game of the Year.
Sorry, we're closed tonight for a private party.
Alrighty, so in case you missed it, the nominees are for Ultimate Game of the Year: Red Dead Redemption 2, Marvel's Spider-Man, God of War, Monster Hunter World, Death's Gambit, BattleTech, Forza Horizon 4, Darksiders 3, or Mutineer Zero Road to Eden, with special mentions to Island, the visual novel, and Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire. DLD.
See, this is where my tough decision has to come in, because as a visual novel reader, Island was by far one of my favorite novels here, and will probably be one I want to go back and reread again after I've let it wear out from the long review I had to do for it. But for me, this one, I gotta give it to Boy Simulator 2018, aka God of War. It stands out amongst every game. It's earned every achievement it's gotten this year, and it's just one of those games that you won't forget it.
All right, so the first runner-up, which would be number 3 for Ultimate Game of the Year, that went to Red Dead Redemption 2. In second place, which I guess technically second place would be the first loser, would be BattleTech. And the winner for Ultimate Game of the Year is God of War. Surprise, surprise, boy. Yep, God of War wins. I mean, it was. Look, when I was playing God of War beginning of the year, quarter one technically, I think. I said it then, and I stick to it. It isn't just the best game of the year. It is one of the best games of all time. It is that good. If you don't have a PlayStation 4, it's worth going and getting a PlayStation 4 to play. I'm sure eventually it'll end up on PlayStation Now, and if you don't have a console and you can't afford a console, figure out a way to get your Xbox controller to read as a PlayStation controller. Pay for the $15 or $20 or $19.99 a month when they add it, and play through PC, because it is a game experience that everyone who plays video games should experience. Red Dead Redemption is as well. BattleTech, while it got number 2, I can see how it is more of a niche game. Someone who doesn't necessarily like strategy won't enjoy it, where pretty much everyone can enjoy Red Dead Redemption 2 or God of War, let's be honest. But God of War is the ultimate game of the year winner, and let's go ahead and show the award. Congratulations to Santa Monica Studio for winning Studio of the Year and Game of the Year.
Would you like a glass of wine to go with this? Or what? But I think it'll go straight to my head.
Thank you, Damien, for the artwork panels. We'll be sending them off over to Steam and the publishers later. You'll see several of them popping up on Steam and through some of the games that are on there. Some of them will be showing up in social media, and they'll all be going up on the website sometime in the next couple of days.
Oh, really? It saved my life.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Box Cat, if you're around, let me know. Thank you, DLE, for hanging out. Again, thank you, everybody in chat, for being here. I appreciate it very much. If you guys are interested in winning a game for the game we're doing a launch event of, stick around, and there'll be giveaways for it. And we'll be seeing you guys in the future. I look forward to that hype list.
The friends that I'm volunteering with swear by it.
Thank you very much, everybody.
You've been hiding out. Volunteering, eh?
We will not be held responsible for any hearing impairments or damage caused to you from excessive exposure to this sound.